initial investigations suggest their complicity in arms running broadly with terrorists. Consequently, with other security agencies to deal decisively with identifying aforementioned threats. Now, a look at maritime and air operations. The maritime component has sustained the conduct of operations along the Lake Chad waterways. During the period under review, the maritime component conducted offensive operations in the waterways of Lake Chad in conjunction with 403 Amphibious Brigade Baga, despite beaches from water hyacinth and aquatic weeds. A more effective way of tackling this challenge is the employment of dredgers and hyacinth harvesters to clear the Lake Chad waters. Equally, following the successful conduct of Operation Lake Sanity 2, the troops and equipment of 403 Amphibious Brigade and the naval base in Chad were lifted to Baga Contract in Cameroon on 4th November 2024, marking the end of Operation Lake Sanity 2. The air component Operation Hadin on its part has played a pivotal role in decimating the adversary capability through timely intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance missions, complemented by follow-on strike actions. Some notable air interdictions include the 25th October 2024 airstrike in Bulamarwa, following a spot-on intelligence from appropriate superior authority. This led to the neutralization of 18 terrorists, destruction of 2 gun trucks, and unspecified number of motorcycles, lost 2 livestock, as well as assorted food items belonging to the terrorists. Similarly, on 25th November 2024, about 28 ISWAP fighters were neutralized when terrorists attacked troops of 101 Special Forces Battalion at Bukawa. Various armaments were recovered, including 4 vehicle-borne IED. The battle damage assessment and various sources reported the effect of the air interdiction. Next is the Nigerian Army Unmanned Aerial Vehicle Command Operation. The Nigerian Army Unmanned Aerial Vehicle Operation has continued to play vital role in support of ongoing operations across the theater. Since operationalization in October 2022, the command has carried out 1,138 intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance missions, covering a total time of 10,033 flight hours. The platform have continued to ease the acquisition of real-time intelligence, creating situation awareness for troops and necessary visibility for commanders during operations. In the last 1 year, the command has made meaningful progress in its ongoing research and development efforts that led to the successful reconstruction of 5 crashed and damaged UAV, hitherto considered as beyond repairs by the United States technical team earlier attached to it. The breakthrough, among others, ongoing research and development efforts have enhanced the manpower capacity to repair and maintain its platform. Now to operations conducted towards the recovery of small arms and light weapons in Operation Hadin. Several operations have been conducted leading to the recovery of small arms and light weapons across the theater of operations. This includes Operation Desert Sanity 3, Operation Desert Sanity 4, among others. The theater adopts its deny and peace strategy and persistent engagement, which involves relentless incursion into the terrorist enclaves. This novel process entails conducting several offensive operations into specific terrorist enclaves using a multi-pronged approach during advance of these enclaves. For instance, troops conducted offensive operations in the Tukuntu Triangle, Juwe, Sambisa Forest, and the Sauda Tumbos, among other locations during Operation Desert Sanity 3 and Operation Desert Sanity 4. The idea behind the concept is to weaken and overwhelm the terrorists, break their cohesion, and degrade their combat efficiency. It is also dispelled the notion of foreign troops attacking their enclave once in a year. These operations conducted paid off and led to the spate of terrorists surrendered and recovery of assorted arms and ammunition across the theater of operations. During these operations, the air component, Operation Hadin and Nigerian Army Command Area Vehicle provided air cover, while designated Ivory Forces members acted as guides. Significant gains were made during this operation, which have impacted positively on the security environment. Several terrorists were neutralized, including key terrorist leader Tahir Bagar and Malam Mohammed Muhammadu, while several women and children were rescued from the terrorist enclaves. The operations led to the recovery of various small arms and light weapons across the theater of operations. A statistic summary of the small arms recovered across the sector from January 2023 to date is as shown on the screen. A key aspect of the operations was the recovery of armed platforms previously destroyed or captured by the terrorists. The vehicles were repaired and have been recycled for operation use in the theater. The high point of dry season operation 2024 was the display of the vehicles and equipment during the Chief of Army Staff Sarah luncheon on 17 June 2024. Other operations and theater initiatives that led to the recovery of small arms and light weapons across the theater of operations include Operation Snowball, arrest of terrorists, logistics suppliers, and collaborators, handling of communists, and arrest of foreign mercenaries. These are discussed subsequently. First, a look at Operation Snowball. Operation Snowball is a counter-arms and ammunition racketeering operation launched by the theater in response to the incessant cases of arms and ammunition theft in the theater. Operation Snowball, which commenced in August 2024, cut across 11 states with suspects arrested by Operation Hadin team in Bauchi, Benue, Borno, Ebonyi, Enugu, Lagos, Plateau, Kaduna, Rivers, Taraba, and the Federal Capital Territory. So far, a total of 18 soldiers, 15 mobile policemen, and 8 civilians, including the traditional ruler of Igwedu village in Ebonyi State, have been arrested. Preliminary findings from ongoing investigation reveals community pressure on serving security personnel to supply arms and ammunition for communal conflict as driving factors. It is also worth mentioning that the lucrative nature of trading in ammunition is also a driving factor for its persistence. For instance, Sergeant Ahmed Raphael, armorer of 7th Division Garrison, who has been in the trade since 2018, and Sergeant Seidu Adamu of 3 Division Ordnance Services, who has also been in the trade since 2022, had over 45 million naira and 34 million naira respectively in their accounts. Equally, a booking sum of 135 million naira was discovered to have passed through the account of a policeman, Inspector Enoch Ngwakolobia. To this end, a more stringent punishment is necessary to act as deterrent. A focus on arrest of terrorist logistics suppliers and collaborators. From January 2025 to date, over 186 terrorist logistics suppliers, spies, and collaborators have been arrested across the theater of operations. Items intercepted and seized include petrol, oil, and lubricant, arms and ammunition, drugs and illicit substances, alongside other sundry items. Of particular concern is the proliferation of drugs and narcotics, which significantly enhance terrorist operational capabilities. To counter this threat, the Joint Intelligence Fusion Center, Military Intelligence Brigade, and the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency have intensified efforts to disrupt these networks. However, the lack of tracking devices have continued to mitigate the arrest of logistics suppliers. Another point of concern is the observed increase in cases of collusion by some non-governmental organizations who convey palliative and food items to terrorist locations under the guise of humanitarian assistance. Now to handling of fifth communists. The presence of fifth communists under the overall success undermined the overall success of Operation Hadin. Additionally, a few soldiers motivated by greed are involved in ammunition racketeering, deliberate diverting arms from military stockpiles and supply chain to terrorists. Such actions erode battlefield morale, reduce troops' effectiveness, and strengthen enemy resistance. The most recent incident occurred on 24 February this year when a soldier of 144 Battalion was arrested with 30 rounds of 7.662 mm special at Tashan Kano by military police K-19 on route search operations. Consequently, the Tata has continued to warn troops at all levels on the severe repercussions and sanctions of ammunition racketeering. Those found culpable have been dismissed and handed over to the police to serve jail terms. However, the limited jail terms provided by the law is hardly a deterrent as the voters are released within 2 to 5 years. Let's now take a look at the arrest of foreign mercenaries. The infiltration of foreign mercenaries in the joint operation area has significantly escalated the threat posed by a terrorist group like ISWAP and JAS. The recent arrest of 4 Pakistani nationals whose initial investigation suggests their complicity in arms running with the terrorists is instructive. It suffices to mention that the foreign mercenaries facilitate tactical and strategic training for these terrorists. The recent deployment of arms drone for attacks and surveillance on troops position illustrates the refinement of the terrorist tactics, techniques, and procedures by mercenaries, advanced improvised explosive devices fabrication and placement of booby traps. The growing influence of these mercenaries is evident in the terrorists' increasingly coordinated assaults, resulting in higher casualties among troops and greater equipment losses. This alarming trend calls for an immediate coordinated response, including intensified intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance operations, as well as strong collaboration between Nigeria and neighboring nations to disrupt cross-border support networks. Now to the achievement of Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hadin. Despite the challenges faced by Operation Hadin, there are many achievements recorded in the charter, leading to the booming of socio-economic activities across the entire Northeast region. These include the stabilization operation in Kukawa and Malafatouri, provision of enabling environment for coronation ceremonies in Tikwa and Bama local government areas, and the tournament crusade in Maiduguri, among others. These are subsequently discussed, beginning with stabilization operation in Kukawa and Malafatouri. In May 2024, terrorists issued a vacation order leading to a mass exodus of civilians in Kukawa town. Operation Hadin subsequently issued an operational order for stabilization operations, mobilizing 7 excavators, construction of watchtowers, surveillance masks, and barricades. The operation successfully led to the return of over 10,000 locals to their ancestral homes. Relatedly, Operation Hadin initiated stabilization operation in Malafatouri, enabling the return of over 8,000 internally displaced persons in April 2025. The operation aims to defeat the terrorists facilitate socio-economic recovery, and ensure a holistic return of the locals to their ancestral homes. Now to coronation ceremonies in Dikwa and Pama local government areas. On 9th February this year, the coronation and presentation of staff of office to the 13th Sheikh of Dikwa and Aji Ibrahim Ibn Umar El Khanel by the governor of Borno State, Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, was held in Dikwa town. The ceremony was attended by emirs and chiefs from different parts of Nigeria, as well as neighboring countries of Chad and Cameroon. Similarly, on 11 February 2025, the coronation and presentation of staff of office to the second Sheikh of Bama, His Royal Highness Dr. Umar Kiari Umar Ekanemi, by the governor of Borno State, was held in Bama local government area of Borno State. The ceremonies, which attracted a mammoth crowd, had in attendance prominent personalities across the country. It suffices to state that these events were possible as a result of the enabling environment provided by Operation Hadin. Next is the conduct of the Dunamis Church Crusade in Maiduguri. The Dunamis International Church, under the leadership of Dr. Pastor Paul Eneche, held its Healing and Deliverance Crusade at Ramat Square, Maiduguri, between 13 to 14 March this year. The crusade, which attracted top Christian gospel ministers across the country, saw thousands of Christian faithful trooped in from different parts of the country. The successful crusade not only served as a testament to the security situation in Borno State, but also attest to the extra effort put in place by Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hadin. And lastly, other operational achievements of Operation Hadin. There are other recent achievements recorded by troops of Operation Hadin. This includes neutralization of 694 terrorists and recovery of 603 assorted weapons, recovery of A and B vehicles at the Timbuktu Triangle and Sabisa Forest, which were repaired and recycled for operational use. These include one WAP APC, one Spartan APC, and one Camel Emerald and other vehicles as shown on the screen. Interception of the sum of 111,479,570 naira and 39,000 meant for the terrorists. Recovery of 147 units of ambulance, 15 golf cars, 16 pickups, vehicles, 486, 16 mortar bombs, 56 RPG bombs, and other items are shown on the screen. In conclusion, Operation Hadin is committed to the attainment of our mandate to totally defeat the terrorists and restore peace in the Northeast region. In this regard, we have conducted several operations independently as well as in synergy with the multinational Joint Task Force in order to decimate, dislocate, and deny the terrorist freedom of action. However, there are some areas of concern which we believe are not insurmountable. We shall therefore continue to do our best to overcome these challenges and deliver on our mandate. Thank you for your rapt attention.
Thank you, sir, for your brief. So that was the brief on the operational activities of the Task Force Northeast Operation Hadin. So the camp permission of the theater commander will now move into the interactive session. And at this point, I shall request the distinguished defense correspondents to please seek clarification and ask questions.
To the activities as it's going on right in Maiduguri Maiduguri, the theater commander of operations. But it is time for question and answer. If you do have question right there, please send it. Type your question, and I promise that your question will be taken.
Now, my question is, are there procedures, measures already put in place to ensure that the devices required so that it can assist your job more? Then also, he said something about narcotics enhancing terrorist operations. Incidentally, somebody we were discussing some other time, and somebody said there are joints where you can get these narcotics in Maiduguri here. In fact, somebody jokingly asked me to get what's the name of the local. He called the name that I should get it for him while coming back. So if you are aware that narcotics enhance terrorist activities, why do we give room for such um, things to be sold in the open market?
Okay.
Okay, sorry, sir. My name is Olaide. I want to quickly ask about personnel capability building, how you train your team. There's a video, a gory video that's circulated on our social media space, whereby we have the gory pictures or videos of our troops who died during, who paid the price when they are fighting. And I know that civilian cannot be in that location, that battlefield, filming our personnel. So I don't know how maybe you have a plan to train your soldiers for them to understand that some pictures or some videos need to they don't need to put it on the social media for Nigerians to see. They need to put videos of the content that people will love what they are doing. They will support them in prayers and not showing us our soldiers on the floor. Thank you very much, sir.
Sorry,
Thank you so much.
you should have just take two more questions. No, thanks for the question. Yes.
All right. We do not go around invading their privacy. However, there's a vision under which people who are engaged, as I mentioned, in terrorist supporting, are tracked and they are, if found culpable, held liable by the law. Now, that is done at the strategic level at the Office of the National Security Advisor. The brief made mention that we lacked some of the tracking devices in theater. And that's because we don't carry out such operations. Those operations are carried out at a higher level, and the necessary reports have been made to them so that they can engage in them. I hope this clears the situation that there are different levels of tracking. We don't do that in theater. Drugs. Drugs can range from cocaine to things like tramadol. Tramadol is used to be by the Ports Authority, customs. Those were drugs that were brought into the country to be sold as legal drugs, because tramadol is a legal drug. It is used for surgeries. But what happens is that some of them are smuggled and make their way to terrorists. So to answer your question directly, we do not have the powers of selling into the country. That is something that is handled at the strategic level. What we do is to regulate and make sure that people who bring drugs, including tramadol and others, have to go through the process of screening. Where is that drug going for? Is it going to a pharmacy? Is it going to a hospital? And then we allow them coming. Nevertheless, as with many other things, certain drugs are smuggled into this theater. And it is those that you can see our personnel arresting and be displayed during the presentation. Social media presence. Our personnel have been involved, as you rightly said. I think the two questions are related to this. The other one is soldiers that are posting pictures
on the internet. This is something that the CDS and all the service chiefs and the theater commander have frowned against, and we are implementing very strict protocols. As a matter of fact, I think 2 weeks ago, there were some of our colleagues who were arrested for breaching that protocol, and they were dismissed instantly from service. So this is something that the military authorities and indeed Operation Hadin is clamping down on seriously. There's a question on the increase on the use of drones. The proliferation of drones is something that not just Operation Hadin, the world itself is grappling with. If you look at what's happening in Ukraine, look at what's happening in Gaza, the conventional warfare itself is being challenged by the use of drones, which is occasioned by the ease at which non-state actors have access to technology, lethal technology, and the cheapness of this technology. So use of drones have increased, not just in Operation Hadin, but in all theaters, and measures have been put in place. Several measures. We have the use of technology to counter such drones, and there are other regulatory protocols for bringing in the drones that we are also implementing. There's a range of solutions, or there's a range of measures that we adopt to counter the use of drones, which I will not go into in this answering your question, but it is something that we're looking into and we're doing a lot to counter. And we are also making success in that field. But the increased use of drone just boils down to the fact that the technology is becoming easier to use and people have access to it. I believe I have covered most of your questions. So I'll hand over to the deputy commander.
Thank you so much, sir. May I, at this juncture, respectfully request the theater commander to give his remarks. The theater commander, sir.
Okay, thank you. Still one question that is unanswered, but I think when I finish my comments, I'll answer that question. The Deputy Director of Defense Media Operations, who is also the team leader for this August visit, a person of General Mohammed Dayo Akumawashi, my classmates, my brother, my very good friend. Let me once again warmly welcome you back home. For several years we served together in the Northeast, and today you are here with me again. Our esteemed partners, that is our defense correspondents here present. I kind of like all the questions that you posed this afternoon. They are very patriotic questions, and gladdens my heart that we still have people in the fourth realm of estates that have this kind of mindset. Indeed, I'm glad to have you here with us this afternoon. I am able Deputy Theater Commander, Chief of Staff, Principal Staff Officers, Senior Officers, ladies and gentlemen. So I welcome you to headquarters, Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hadin, specifically to our conference room. I hope we had a very wonderful flight, and I enjoyed the very good weather that we have here in Maiduguri. Today is relatively good because we have achieved as high as 45 degrees centigrade at times. So today is a very good day, and the weather is
that is
very
serious.
good. So I'll start by appreciating the very crucial role that you all play as members of the fourth realm of estates, especially when we are talking of asymmetric warfare, which is what we physically deal with here. In asymmetric warfare, the lines, the delineating lines are not properly clear. Like my friend normally used to say those days when we were in the defense college, he has this famous quote that for you to succeed in asymmetric warfare, you need to separate the water from the fish. That is the terrorists from the community. So long as as you are not able to do that, then you will not make any headway. So the lines for asymmetric warfare is not properly delineated, and that is why it's always a very difficult warfare to fight. And that is why you need to regularly interface with us. It is one of the reasons why you are here today. We conduct an on-the-spot assessment, interact with our troops, and also the local populace where troops are deployed. For us, that is the only way we can build mutual trust and also cooperation. And going forward, we'll be able to address most of the misconception that is out there in the field, especially in the age of social media hypes, fake news everywhere. I'll give you some examples. I served previously as the General Officer Commanding 3 Division and Operation Safe Level in Jos. And at times you have these issues, and you see video clips coming online, trending, saying this is what is happening in Bokos right now. This is what is happening in Mambu right now. Soldiers are shooting civilians. Soldiers are doing this or doing that. And I take these videos and I run them through the Cyber Warfare Command, and you get the fact check almost immediately. This video was first released 2013, 2015. It has gone viral. So viral that people are making comments, and before you know it, in other communities, represent attacks start taking place. So somebody just sits in the comfort of his room and he sends out this kind of fake videos that will lead to the loss of lives and property. So what I did was to bring the media together and got like type of these very important things that people were always referring to, and played them and cross-check them against the fact check, and the whole just down sat down, and everybody was like, if only we had known. That's why I think you are very critical and crucial in the kind of warfare that we see going on now in the field setting. And after that, people began to understand the real dynamics of social media. Also, is the way we report our news at times, where one captain was killed, but in that encounter, about 15 terrorists lost their lives. But you know what the media caption was across the media space that most of our news outlets? Captain dies in attack. And I said, this is negative reportage. Yes, a captain was killed in the line of duty. He's a hero as far as I'm concerned. He died doing what he was trained and paid to do. But what happened to the adversary? Almost 15. And only some very good media houses were able to pick that out. And you now, after 2 days, started seeing other headlines. 15 terrorists killed during fuel attack on forward operating base, as against captain killed during an attack on the forward operating base. Because if we're not properly, if we're not careful with the way we send out news into the media space, it will turn out like as if we are the mouthpiece for the terrorists. And that is a very good way for terrorism to try. But I'm glad that we are almost operating on the same page now, and everybody understands what we need to do. Also, we talked about the issue of human rights violation. Well, the Chief of Staff has said it all. The Armed Forces of Nigeria remains highly trained. We are professional, and occasionally during pre-induction training and even in theater, we conduct a lot of this training for our personnel to bring them up to speed, inviting international organizations like the United Nations and the international community of Red Cross to periodically make sure that all troops in theater are brought up to speed on what is expected of them and what is not expected from them. Agreed, we don't have a 100% record, but we'll try to be very open to you today. On the screen now, we're talking of the issue of armed racketeering. You can see that even some of our own have been sent to jail So for those that are recalcitrant that are thought the road is not spared, you face all the lines of operation that we need to face to carry out disciplinary action, and you are handed over to the civilian authorities for your jail term. Right now, we have over 69 people pending court martial. Some are waiting the confirmation of their trial. So we don't spare the road where issues of human rights are. But while I was talking about the weather being very good today, it's also to also make you appreciate the sacrifices that the men in uniform go through. We have our guys there in the field, spread in different locations, enduring these harsh weather conditions, which can rapidly become also very cold at night. So they are our unsung heroes, and I think we'll do them well to appreciate them occasionally when the time comes up. And the only way to do that is through the media. It's where you continue to hear this that it gets to the Nigerian populace that yes, these are also Nigerians, and it is not the terrorists against the armed forces. It is the terrorists against Nigeria as a nation. So once we begin to understand this and have a common front, I think we will be able to make a very tangible headway. So we have looked at what you set out to achieve today. That is why we have programmed you to visit the Joint Investigation Center where all those that we have in custody are being kept. So you'll be able to interact with them and see if there are any issues of human rights. You also be visiting FOB, Forward Operating Base Molai, and Forward Operating Base Tumbushe. You interact with the troops, and also you also be able to interact with the local communities where the soldiers are based, so that you get your first-hand information and do your on-the-spot assessment. So it is a good opportunity if you ask me that you are here today, and I hope we'll be having more of these interactions, even if it is just once every quarter. So once again, let me warmly welcome you to Maiduguri, and I hope you will enjoy the weather for the next 2 hours before you leave us. So the question which was not answered, which I wanted to quickly answer, was the one on the use of soft skin vehicle. This is the SY Commander 25 Task Force Brigade, Brigadier General UF Abubakar was involved. Now, these critical combat enablers are never sufficient for any army. Even the United States of America, the forefront war machine, at a particular point in time in Afghanistan and Iraq, troops will have to wait if they want to go on patrol for other troops to come back from patrol before they now wear the same bulletproof jackets to go out, because it's not enough. Troops at times will have to go for patrols without having air cover, because the platforms cannot cover multiple operations at any particular point in time. So there's no army that has all it requires to go into combat. The brigade commander had some man assistance and protected vehicles with him, but rather than keeping it to himself, they were deployed with the troops in the front. So that is some of the plots that we carry here. But by and large, we are not deterred. Our resilience is there, and I'm sure we will continue to make very, very, very good improvements in the coming weeks and months. So I thank you for your time.
We're on live to GTV Africa, live from Maiduguri. Today, I have privilege of being at the theater commander office to be at the theater command of Operation Hadin and details of what the men, officers and men are doing has been given, and you have first-hand information on what is going on. I promise that I'm going to bring other uh, story from this end as we proceed on our movement to other sector of the operations, and you are sure that detail of what is going on here will be coming to you. For those of you that are yet to subscribe to GTV Africa, please don't miss out. Can they subscribe so that you can be getting more information? And I assure you that you get every other information that you require to know as regard to this study. It is a tour of defense correspondent to Maiduguri to see and to meet the officers that are in the field, that are in the front line, to hear from them. It's of good note that military has already gotten some of the officers that are committing crime, selling arms, that are causing trouble for other officers in their territory. As the governor made it known that those politicians that are aiding terrorists, the commander has made it known that people work are on it to hand them over to those that are supposed to take control of their activities, as we have rules, law that are at work, that are meant for such, are supposed to be a guiding principle of such. I want to tell you that the other places that we are going to visit, in order for you not to miss out, you are expected to subscribe to GTV Africa and share with it so that you can have other information. As we are moving, you get more informations. If you do have questions, do send in your questions, and I want to assure you that I'm going to take it up when opportunity comes in to ask for such questions. Well, for the benefit of some of us that are online, I have a colleague of mine here, and I want to be finding out from him. His name is. He was going to mention his name, but I just want to find out from you. Do you think what the military is doing by bringing journalists down to the city, to the front line, is a good thing for them to do? Your name?
Yeah, my name is Idowi Samotu, defense correspondent for Daily Trust newspapers. It's actually good. We are professionals. We are trained to report anything security. Like myself now, in the last 14 years, I've not done any other